Coach, what makes Nelson so special for this offense? The way he runs the ball and the way he breaks free and goes through that line of scrimmage and gets downfield.
From his starting position, you'd think after 20 weeks of this, I figured that out. But after, from his stance where he's at, Scott, to the mesh, he's probably as quick as we've ever had. Super explosive. He's built low to the ground, obviously. He's got, really strong legs. Just a physical runner, but just his explosiveness, he's to the mesh points as fast as we've ever had.
And also an inspiration to his teammates, showing that hard work can pay off with what you can earn from it.
I mean, he's always been a hard worker. Kids, continue to keep grinding. Even through last year when Jamel, kind of became more of the starter, he continued to work hard, didn't complain, didn't sulk, just kept grinding. So yeah, it's a great testament to his fortitude in the young man.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Scott.
Okay, we'll just go right down the line since no one else has tapped questions. Graham, do you have anything?
Sure. Talk to me a little bit about kickers and special teams. Coach, what's your kind of thought process on that these days?
Yeah, we just, Bijan's obviously been a really good kicker for us over the years. Won a lot of big games for us in crunch situations. I think you guys know me. Normally those kind of situations, 4th and 2 or so, that there are times that I've gone for it, late in the game. But we were playing so well on defense that, the thought process, kick the field goal. And I have great confidence in Bijan. And if we were in that same situation, I'd probably do it again. He's human. He missed the field goal, but he definitely, he's a guy that I definitely trust. We got to get better in our punting. Daniel's done some good things, but there's also that's got to be an area we have to improve in. And so I've been pleased with our kickoffs. I thought Ben did a really good job this past week against Memphis, because really that kickoff return against us last year that they ran against us last year probably broke the game open. Probably that's, we had all the momentum against them last year, and that kickoff that they returned for a touchdown last year probably, turned the tide of the game. So I was pleased with the way Ben kicked this week. We have to improve in our punting, and Bijan's got to get back to Bijan, which he will. I thought we protected better in the field goal portion of it. Some of the misses, the field goal that Ben had missed earlier, or Bijan had missed earlier, one was he had a bobble snap, and one was a protection issue. So, we'll get back, and we'll keep going to him in those situations.
Gotcha. Thanks, Coach.
That's
Dave Ginsburg.
Coach, Dave Ginsburg, Associated Press. A couple questions for you. First of all, quarterback situation. I know you've had to juggle your quarterbacks. Are you still looking for the right combo? Has it been? What would you attribute some of the switches to? And have you settled on one as we go into this game?
Yeah, obviously we've been inconsistent on offense. So we're, if you're still moving around quarterbacks at this time, obviously you haven't settled on one. And so we're, go again this week and see how it goes. They'll all continue to keep battling. They're all close, so it makes it tough. But, all of them have gone in there and all of them done good things, and they've done bad things. So it's, one guy hasn't won the job per se, and when we've tried to hand it to a guy, it's, I guess, gone okay. So it's just, a little bit inconsistent. Maybe some of the inconsistency on some other positions kind of illuminates inconsistencies at a quarterback. And a lot of times the play of a quarterback can cover up and mask up some of the deficiencies of other positions. But, we got to play better at that position. And I know, Coach Jasper will, we got to find the right combination, and he'll find the right guy, coach him right. But, we're still looking right now, Dave. And like I said, this late in the season, that's not a good deal.
I think it's somewhat obvious that you must be frustrated in that some games you score a lot of points, and then last game your defense was exceptional, but you lose anyway. Are you looking for, I guess, consistency on both sides still at this point? Because there hasn't been really a common thread to 3 straight losses.
Yeah, it's just we played okay on offense against SMU. We didn't play very good on defense, obviously, gave up a ton of points. And then this past week we played great on defense. I mean, that's as good as we looked like last year on defense. So that was super encouraging to see. I mean, Memphis is a really good offense. And we basically shut them out, shut them down, held them to 7 points. And but we've been inconsistent on offense. We've been inconsistent on both sides of the ball, and we can't seem to put games together as far as both sides of the ball playing well. But really, with all of that said, as well as we played on defense and as bad as we played on offense, kind of feel like if we don't turn the ball over and obviously don't miss the field goal, we're going to win that game. So the 2 turnovers were critical in a close game like that. The first turnover obviously didn't allow us to kick a field goal going into the half. So at the bare minimum, we could have been up, 10-7 at halftime. We're hoping to go 14-7 at halftime, but we go in 7-7. And then, we're in good shape to start the fourth quarter. We're in good 7-7. We're in good field position, and we have a center QB exchange, which was a killer. And obviously we had a chance to drive again and got stalled. We're hoping again we could go and score a touchdown, but we had to settle for a field goal. We missed it. So it's hard to win, though. It's hard to win. That was a good team, but we know we still had our chances to win, so that's frustrating. But I was encouraged by the fact that we look like Navy defense. Newberry, I mean, that's what I remember seeing us last year, flying around, stuff to run. We were confusing, the quarterback, and he was a really good quarterback. We have to be more consistent on offense.
Okay, I just have a couple more. Is there anything you can take away from the way you've dominated Tulsa in the past? I realize this is a different year. They're 22 in the country, but you smoked them pretty bad last year. And I don't know whether you even look at that film because so much has changed for both teams.
Oh, you always look at the previous season and look at personnel and see what guys do. But as we look at last season, we also recognize watching last year's game that our quarterback's now playing at the Dolphins. You know what I mean? So, so you go back and look at it, but that's what you look at. You look at things personnel-wise. It's the same staff, so you maybe look at some stuff schematically. But this is a new year. Whatever happened last year has no bearing on this game, just besides the standpoint of game planning, looking at personnel, but totally different team. They're playing really, 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 really well right now, and this is going to be another tough game for us.
Here's my last one. What can you tell me about Zaven Collins, their linebacker? He's really the dominant player on that defense, and he seems like he's pretty tough to stop.
Probably the best defensive player in our league. You got a guy that's 6'4", 260. He's bigger than our defensive lineman. He's huge, and he can run. He had a pick 6 to close the game against Tulane. In overtime. Shows you how fast he is. So he ran the ball 98 yards or 99 yards for a touchdown. He can cover. He can hit. He's smart. There's some projections saying he's going to be an early round, first round draft choice. He's that talented. So, who knows? I'm not really sure. Can't remember who made that prediction, but he's a talented football player.
Thank you much.
Bill Bergman.
Hey, Coach Phil Bergman, NavySports.com. Saturday will be an opportunity for the seniors to have that senior day. We didn't know if it was going to happen. What's this moment going to be like for you as their coach?
Excited for this senior class. Obviously all that they've been through this year, all of us have been through this year. It's encouraged by their, super happy with their leadership. We're a hard team to beat on senior day, so that's our big deal. You know what I mean? Just send our seniors out the right way. And this senior class deserves that. Great, great young men fill in this senior class, and hopefully we can send them out the right way against a really good football team.
A few weeks ago, before the originally scheduled Tulsa game, you mentioned Coach Montgomery's the coach you're closest to in the conference. How did this relationship come to be, and just what's this relationship like?
More survival in this profession. I mean, we're both still here. I mean, maybe survival, and I shouldn't say that because some guys have gone on to Power 5 jobs, you know, so from Scott Frost to Tom Herman, Mike Norvell, Justin Fuentes. East Carolina's had a few changes. You know, there have been some teams that have had some changes. Just he and I have been in there, you know, we have league meetings every year. And so he and I have just gotten to know each other. So, you know, when you're in those meetings, you know, all day, you know, you get to know people. And so I just like him. He's a good man, good person. We just been able to become friends over the years. But a big part of it too, Phil, is just he and I have been in the league longer than anybody else.
Perfect. Thank you.
I feel.
John Schofield, do you have anything?
Hey, Coach. John Schofield from Sing Second Sports. I'd like you to just kind of comment really quick about how Calvin Austin in the games prior to Navy was really just putting up NFL-like numbers. I was very impressed. You mentioned how impressed you were with your guys finally playing quote unquote Navy defense. I was frankly shocked that Calvin Austin was minimized the way that he was. How proud of you were you? How proud were you of the corners and how they matched up against some pretty athletic wide receivers, notably Austin?
Well, just excited. Then we have a new corner starting too last week, and you know Jamal Glennon, he played really well. I mean, those guys have been scoring a lot of points against people. Just proud of, like you said, to be able to play those guys that way defensively. Coach Newberry had a great plan. The defensive coaches did a great job preparing our guys, and the guys played really well. I was really, really, really happy to see the way we played, and you know, really proud of that accomplishment of being able to limit him.
And last question from me, Coach. It really seems like, particularly in your time as the head coach, the uniforms for the Army-Navy game have taken on a life of their own. Army dropped their uniforms yesterday. Navy has yet to drop theirs. But can you kind of talk about how interesting it's been that the uniforms have become almost front and center in the conversation about the Army-Navy game as much as the game itself?
Yeah, you know, Under Armour does a really good job with that. I don't really have anything to do with that. That's Chet and Greg Morgenthaler. They work with this, you know, their design team. They just show us what we're wearing and said, you know, we'll get, you guys worry about, you know, where the stripes are at and what color they're at, and we're worried. Hopefully we can find a way to win. But I mean, they've done a really good job. They've been really cool over the years. I think our kids really look forward to it, John, and it's a big selling point for us in recruiting. You know, over the years, our uniforms have been voted, our helmets and our uniforms, you know, some of the best in the country, you know, for that season. So it's a, you know, like I said, big recruiting sale for us. And, you know, Under Armour does a really good job with that.
Appreciate it, Coach. Thanks.
Thanks, John.
Wags.
Hi, Coach. We did this 2 weeks ago, but we'll do it again. Talk about Tulsa. They're in contention for the conference championship. They're right there with Cincinnati, unbeaten. What are you seeing out of this Tulsa team that has enabled them to kind of take the next step? I think this is might be the best team that Coach Montgomery's had there.
I think they've always been talented. Like we were watching them last year. I mean, they're a talented team, but they've had some hard luck, man. You know, they've had some where they're lining up for a chip shot field goal or to kick a field goal to win, and they might miss it or something, or maybe a penalty doesn't go their way, or somebody else completes a long pass. I think it was SMU one year did that or something. I mean, they're winning games, and just they kind of snake bitten a little bit on some of their losses. That's not happening this year. You know, they're finding ways to win them. You know, somebody had mentioned, you know, that call that got a favorable call against ECU, but to their credit, some of those calls were going against them in years past, and it kind of just leveled out. You know what I mean? They probably think, hey, you know, there's a controversial call against us a couple years ago. I think it was Houston 2 1 year. They got a controversial call go against them, but you know, this year there's a call that was in their favor. So it's I think things are just balls bouncing their way, and maybe in years past it wasn't. But they're a good football team. They've always been. They've had some tough luck over the year. This year I wouldn't say it's been luck because they're creating that luck. You know, they're in those positions to win those games. It's not, you know, it's not like they're lucky or anything. They're a good football team that is getting some calls that were going against them in years past, and they're making things happen. I mean, that win against Tulane, somebody said, well, they hit a Hail Mary. You got to complete that. I mean, it was a well-designed Hail Mary, and you got to throw it and catch it. The quarterback's playing really well. And so they're creating their luck too. Things are bouncing away, but they're also creating that bounce too.
Dave Ginsburg had asked you about the linebacker Collins. He's a playmaker who's very disruptive. 10 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 4 interceptions. Do you have to somehow especially account for him to make sure he's not disrupting things the way he does?
Oh, you definitely got to know where he's at. I mean, he's that good. He's such a good football player. As physical as a guy in our league. I mean, he's the best defensive football player in our league. But he has so many attributes that make him really good. He's, like I said, he's 6'4", 260. I mean, we don't have a defensive lineman that big. And he's fast, smart. Just so many, you know, qualities for him. And so not very many weaknesses. But you definitely got to account for a guy like that, why to know where he's at, to be aware of him. I mean, he's disruptive. I mean, and people knew about him coming into this year. They knew about him last year, but he's exceeded. You know, sometimes guys get hyped in the preseason and don't live up to it. To me, he's exceeded it. I mean, he's playing really, really good football.
With regard to the quarterback situation, what would be your assessment of Tiger once you're able to watch the film? How did you feel he did on Saturday night?
You know, he did some good things. Maybe missed a couple checks, but, you know, a lot of guys miss checks. I mean, there's no quarterback that doesn't miss checks. You know, you like to get more out of the running game with him. I think probably if there's anything, just the one pick was a critical deal. I mean, like I said, it might have been a turning point in the game. But with that said, I mean, Tiger knows that. He's a great young man. There's a lot of pressure on the quarterback. You know, a guy can miss a block or he can miss a tackle, and they're like, okay. But when the quarterback makes a boo-boo, everybody sees it. Probably that position in the DB is probably the one position everybody sees, but there might be 10 other guys in a play on one side of the ball that's, you know, making mistakes, but nobody really recognizes it. But there's so much emphasis on the quarterback in any offense, especially in our offense, and you got to play well. And he did some good things, but obviously, you know, we didn't play well enough at quarterback to win. I mean, that's just the truth. But if you only score 7 points, there's a lot of places you didn't play well enough on offense. It wasn't just him.
And then real quickly on Xavier, I know he wasn't in there very long, but, you know, he did show he had a couple nice runs, especially on a critical drive. He picked up the first down with a nice run. Is that something Xavier brings to the table? He's got a little wiggle and he's quick. I mean, do you think he brings maybe a running threat to the table?
He's definitely, that's his strength. You know what I mean? He's probably our most elusive, you know, fastest quarterback. I thought he did some good things. But again, that center QB fumble was huge in the game. You know what I mean? And nobody cares that he's a freshman. You know what I mean? Memphis is like, oh, sorry, the poor freshman fumbled the ball. I mean, it was a critical part in the game. But I thought he did a lot of good things. I thought he did, like you said, he had some big runs in there, played with some composure. But I guess kind of like Tiger, I mean, they had, both of them had one boo-boo that was critical in the outcome of a 10-7 loss. You know what I mean?
So how do you grade a QB center exchange fumble? Is it always the quarterback's fault?
No, it's both. When you have that, it's always both of them, because you're both. It's like a mesh foam. I mean, it's both guys, and so it's always a combination of both.
The offensive line, they did a little bit of a shake-up, move Honecker over there to the left guard spot, started Kip Franklin at tackle. Did you like the results of that, and do you think you'll stick with it?
I thought we played okay, but again, Wags, we scored 7 points. So it's not like, and like I said, Nelson ran hard, and there's some things you can be, that's good, but it's not to our standard. You know what I mean? It's not the standard that we're looking for yards per rushing, obviously point scoring, winning. And so there's some positives, and we just continue to evaluate. We'll practice again, and, Coach Ingram and Coach O'Rourke will look at some combinations and try to put our best 5 guys on the field for Saturday.
And last for me, Michael McMorris and Michael Cooper were not able to go. Do you expect to get them back on Saturday versus Tulsa?
We're hopeful. Yeah, we're hopeful that we'll get them.
Just one more on the quarterbacks. I'm curious, you talked about inconsistency, but regardless of who's under center, can you specify some of the areas that have to improve and that you're looking for from the position, regardless of who's there?
Our option game, Kareem. I think our inside game, Nelson's running really well, but we've been really inconsistent just in our option game. Some of it's the quarterback reads, Kareem. Some of it's the perimeter blocking, some of the line blocking. But we got to improve. All of them got to improve on their option mechanics in the option game. We're an option team, and right now we're not a very good option team. And it makes it tough. It makes it tough to do what we do, when we're not, performing very well at that phase. So they're all improving on it. They're all getting better. But, to the standard that we want, they all 3 of them still got work to do.
You get to know these guys very well over 4 years, and every class is unique. This class seems to have some very strong leaders, all the guys that are captains and Miles Fells as well. And then, a guy like Nelson, who's maybe quieter, but I get the feeling he's a strong leader in his own way. But can you just kind of comment on this particular class as far as, this is it for them and their final home game?
Well, like you said, then you guys got guys like Evan Faulkman and Ryan Mitchell that got hurt, that have played a lot of football games for us, and they continue to come to practice. They're helping out all they can. Tanner Matthews is a young man that played in the past. So it kind of shows you the kind of kids we have. They've been awesome. Cameron Kinley has been as good a leader as I've ever been around for our team, for our school. He's just been awesome. Miles, same way. Billy Honecker and Jackson Perkins, those guys have been amazing leaders. Nelson, as you said, just a quiet leader, Nelson Smith, and just been so happy with the way they've led. We've had a lot of, okay, we're up, we're not playing. There are things going on in the hall that is unique to this year. The school is already hard enough. And then there's some stuff that, that all midshipmen have to deal with, not being able to leave the yard. And we all know it's for all good reasons. They're not bad reasons. Trying to keep them safe, keep our community safe. But it's still getting hard. That's still hard to be, locked up in the dorms. Like I said, most college students at least get to leave the practice facilities and go back to their off-campus apartment or whatever that may be. But in spite of all of that, they've continued to lead, continue to be great examples. Peter Nexus is a guy that I think about up front too. He's having a really good year, I feel like. He's been the most consistent offensive lineman we've had. He's played really hard and, done some really good things, that way. So I've been pleased with him, but really happy for the senior class, the way they've led. Wish we obviously that our record was better, but we're still playing for a lot, man. We're still playing for a lot. We playing a top 20 team, 25 team, 22nd, whatever they're ranked. Senior day, obviously we got the big one coming next week. There's stuff after could happen, so there's still a lot to play for. All of our eyes are on Tulsa because if you don't, they're going to embarrass us. But this senior class, happy for them, and hopefully we can finish strong for them.
And last but not least for me, Emmett Davis. I'm going to be writing something about him. Who's a local kid, another one of the seniors who's going out. Was on the scout team for 3 years, but was never faced and worked hard, and now is actually receiving playing time. I saw him make a great block downfield in that game on one of Nelson's run, I believe. Can you just talk about Emmett Davis? And, here's a guy that you've probably known since he was a little kid just because of his father being a coach at Navy.
Yeah, actually, he and my son are best friends, just, playing in high school. But I've just been really proud of him. He's, been on the scout team for many years, continue to work and grind. Him along with Chase Parrish, another senior, and they just worked really hard, didn't complain, just tried to do the best they can, and really excited to see him step in this year on special teams. Then, unfortunately we had some injuries for those that are injured. Obviously, that's unfortunate. But those that are behind, it's an opportunity for them. So he was able to get some reps this week, and, just happy for him. Great young man from a great family. Again, a lot of those kind of guys that kind of symbolize our program of selfless guys that work hard. And that, that's Emmett. He's a guy that's worked hard, like I said, along with Chase Parrish. One other senior I think about too is just Kyle Gibbs, our long snapper. We haven't talked about him much this year, which is good. And he's had a really, really good year. And so he, leads our specialist group. So, we've had guys like that, like you said, Wags, but really happy for Emmett. As a coach, you can't play favorites. You love all your players, but to see a guy like that I've known for so many years, like I said, I try to treat everybody equal, and to see him do well, I'm happy for him. Like I said, I can't play favorites to kids from Hawaii or Samoan because I'm Samoan or whatever, LDS kid because I'm a member of the church, or a hometown kid. You love all your players the same. It's like kind of Kareem's question about the quarterbacks. This past week for me is hard. It's hard to, to put somebody in front of Dalen because he's been such a great example of being a team player. So when those kind of decisions happen, when you make those decisions as a staff, they're hard because they're great kids, they're great young men. You wish there were more jerks or something. It'd be easy. We got to bench him anyway. He's a bad kid. But when you have to move those kind of kids, it's hard because they're good people. They work hard. They don't complain. But, it's hard for them when you get, benched or whatever, or moved down and somebody moves ahead of you. It's really hard, for your young man. I'll just say one other senior just thought about too is Marcus Wiggins. Been really proud of him as a young man that stayed here. It's battled through a lot of things but there's so many, as I talk, another senior pops in my mind, just really proud of the senior class, just as people, again, as good a senior class as I could ask for, and hopefully we can finish strong for them.
Can you walk me through and describe the play that you scored the touchdown on against Memphis? It's a play that you've had a lot of success with in your career at Navy, and you've really seemed to do well with it.
Yeah, so the trap play is a play that's, especially in the last couple of years, we use a lot. We've had a lot of success on. So just with the trap, the guards pulling across and kicking out the 4 hour or whatever it is on the line. And I'm pretty much just trying to hug my block from the guard and hit the crease.
How cool was it scoring a touchdown on your mom's birthday? Nice little present for her.
I was definitely glad that I was able to do it. She said that's what she wanted for her birthday, and I told her I got it. So happy I was able to do that.
And I'm sure she's very proud of you earning back your starting spot at fullback. What has that meant to you, being able to find your way back into the starting lineup?
It means a lot. That's like I worked the whole off season while we were off for COVID and whatnot, trying to get faster, get stronger, just so I can come back this year and give myself a chance.
Have you really noticed the difference in your strength and your agility and your speed?
Absolutely. Not just my strength and agility, but like as far as going to offense, I think I've gotten a lot better.
What has it been like those 4 weeks, those 28 days when you weren't playing football and you didn't have games? How were you able to deal with that?
It's kind of one day at a time, control what you can control. I couldn't control that we weren't playing a game that week. All I can do is, look in the playbook, lift, stretch, make sure I'm getting as healthy as I can for whenever the next time we play.
One thing you've really benefited from over the last couple of years are those blockers in front of you, particularly Billy Honecker and Peter Nestrowitz. What have they meant to your career?
Oh, they are my career, really. Like, I couldn't do anything without them. I wouldn't get 1 yard without them blocking for me and putting everything they have out there on the field.
4 years ago and even 5 years ago when you're at Naps, did you ever think in your mind what it would be like playing on your senior day?
I don't think I wasn't thinking that far ahead, but I'm pretty excited for this upcoming week.
What has it been like as an engineering student in this virtual world on campus as you've been studying?
It's definitely been a lot rougher for me. I'm more of a in-person type of guy, more hands-on. I like to ask questions like face-to-face. I like to see the work on the board. So it's been pretty difficult altogether. I've been getting through it.
Has it also been strange not being able to have that contact with a lot of the members of the brigade like you would normally have?
Absolutely. When you're in your room by yourself, unless it just so happened that one of my roommates is working in the same class as me, it's not like you can ask the person next to you, like, oh, yeah, do you get this? Like, what do you think he meant by this or anything like that? It's kind of like you're on your own.
And I would imagine, too, also just the fun of being able to get together with your friends on campus that you haven't been able to do this year.
Oh, yeah. I haven't really seen them around, kind of sticking within a team, not trying to expose myself to anything I don't need to be, because I'm trying to play every game I possibly can this year.
And finally, Tulsa, what do you know about this defense? They've had a pretty good season.
Oh, yeah. Tulsa's having a great season. They have a really good defense, really good linebackers. I'm looking forward to playing them. I think our O-line is going to do a great job this upcoming game, and I think our offense is going to pick up.
Well, it's been a lot of fun watching you play over the last few years. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Phil Bergman.
Hey, Nelson, Phil Bergman with NavySports.com. This Saturday will be one final time in the regular season to run out of that tunnel here in Annapolis. What's that moment going to be like for you?
It's going to be pretty important. I'm just going to be happy to have my guys behind me. I know they got my back, and we don't lose on senior night, so we're going to come out there and play.
For the senior class, what has this journey been like since you guys started at the Yard 4 years ago?
Since 4 years ago, it's been a long journey. We had a lot of guys fall off who aren't part of the team anymore. But like the guys who are still here right now, they're the strong ones. You know those guys have your back. Those are the type of guys you want in your foxhole.
Thank you.
The distinguished Mr. Ginsburg.
Well, thank you. Dave Ginsburg, AP. Nelson, what do you think the common thread has been during this losing streak? I mean, you scored 37 points and lost, and then gave up 10 and lost, but haven't come out on the right end. What do you think's been happening these past 3 games?
I just think we have to hit on all cylinders. Our defense had a great game this game, but our offense didn't. Special teams wasn't great. We had a bad punt in there. We just have to hit on all cylinders. We haven't played a complete game yet, in my opinion, even the ones we won.
In terms of the quarterback, has that been a problem for you, and in that there have been alternating quarterbacks? Would you prefer to just have one, or it's the hot hand is the best way to go?
I mean, of course, I'll probably prefer to have one, kind of get some consistency in there, but overall, it hasn't really affected me as much. I mean, it's still the same play calls. All the quarterbacks are completely capable, so just kind of going with the flow. Whoever they have back there, they have my full support.
You talked a little bit about it, but what does Tulsa bring to the table that makes them the 22nd ranked team in the country? I mean, their offense is good, their defense is sound, but nothing really strikes me as exceptional.
They're a strong team. I feel like they don't make that many mistakes, so it's going to be a hard-fought game. We can't make any mistakes. We can't turn the ball over. They don't turn the ball over that much. Usually, that we like to say whoever wins the turnover battle wins. So we just have to control what we can control and probably come out with that W.
Thank you for your time.
Graham Knight.
Hey, Nelson, Graham Knight here. I'm with Behind the Lines. We're doing a documentary on the Army-Navy rivalry, and I want to talk to you a little bit. You're looking at your last run out of the tunnel coming this weekend. Talk to me a little bit let's talk about the Army-Navy matchups before. What highlights stand out in your mind as you look back as a senior from your last Army-Navy matchups?
Highlights for me, I haven't quite played like too much the past 3 games. But, I don't really know what to say too much about that.
Well, so talk to me a little bit about thinking about now we're in the world of COVID-19. You're a couple of weeks away from that big game. What's it like? You're a senior. Talk to me a little bit. What's it feel like? How are you thinking about that game?
Hey, Graham, we're gonna talk about Army next week. We got Tulsa this week.
All right. Sorry, Scott. Hey, Nelson, we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, I heard.
All right, Bill Wagner.
Hey, Nelson, good to see you. So you said you left some yards on the table on Saturday night. It didn't seem that way to me. Can you kind of elaborate? Was it just a case of you felt like you didn't hit some holes? And I guess maybe did the film, I felt like you were taking some blame on yourself when you shouldn't have. You had 142 yards. Did the film show that what you said was true?
Absolutely. I looked at the film almost immediately after the game when they posted it. I had a lot of plays where I think I missed a read, and I feel like I could have had a lot of big runs in there that I missed. That's pretty much it. Like, I feel like those runs could have made the game, maybe put some more punts on the board, maybe a touchdown here or there.
Obviously, you have been having a very good senior season, and kind of dovetailing with what Scott was asking. Just beyond what you did during the off season, is there anything else that you could say as to why you've had a successful season and have run better this year than last year? Is it just, I imagine that some of it is knowing this is your last go round and you got to leave it all on the table, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I just try to put my best foot forward, but I think speed wise is kind of pretty much the biggest thing, honestly. I feel like I got a good amount faster, especially game speed wise as well. Like, the game just slowed down for me a lot this year, just from the experience. And I think that's just been a big part of why I've been playing a lot better this year.
So Navy has a very impressive streak on senior day as far as winning. Can you talk about that and the importance of going out with a victory in the final game for all these seniors?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Every game we talk about playing for our brothers, but like I feel like it intensifies even more on senior night. This is the seniors' last time playing in the Marine Corps, coming out of that tunnel, and we just all the guys getting behind the seniors and making sure that we go out with a W is just really important.
So obviously, I know you have kind of a low-key personality, but there's a lot of seniors in this class who are the opposite. You know, Cameron Kinley, Miles Fells come to mind, very outspoken guys. And then you got your workhorse guys like Billy Honecker and Jackson Perkins. Can you kind of just talk about when you come to the Naval Academy and you're part of a class, there's so many different personalities. I mean, can you just talk a little bit about all of your football classmates and, you know, how cool it is to be with a group for this long and you know them so well?
Oh yeah, for me, I love the diversity. I love getting to know everybody on the team, and like you said, everybody has a lot of different personalities. Miles is a little bit eccentric, likes to have fun. Billy's a little bit more closed in, but you know, just love those guys. Just really fun to be around all of them. So some of the guys you might think are really closed off probably aren't so much so to me. But like Billy's not super closed off. He likes to have fun too. But you know, I guess he gives that kind of vibe off to people who don't know him as well.
And can you just talk about, I mean, you all have had the strangest senior season of any Navy graduating class. No fans in the stands and just all of what's going on. Can you just talk about, is that something that's going to kind of be, I don't know, I don't want to say cloud the memory, but as far as when you look back, I mean, this is kind of a oddity that's going to stand out as far as marking your careers.
I feel like maybe no fans in the stands. I feel like it intensifies the effect. Like we got to lean on each other a lot more on the sideline and everything else. And I think that just like this experience just intensified that. As far as losing the games, yeah, it hurts, but we're kind of all going through it together. So we have to make the memories that we do have on the field together count even more so.
Hey, Nelson, last year you guys ran for 388 yards against Tulsa. Is there anything you can take from that game to apply to this one, or have they changed completely? And I know you don't have your same quarterback, but is there anything that you can take from that game and bring into this one?
Well, obviously, we look at them, look at their defense. I think they'll probably run something similar to what they did last year. That's pretty much all you can take from it. They're a completely different team than they were last year. We're a completely different team than we were last year as well. So not necessarily entirely new matchup, but it's definitely different.